mean, this is the most casual I've looked in forever on this show, and what a way to start 2026. Happy New Year to you, Gliders fans watching. It's our first edition in 2026, and I mean, it is going to be a very interesting one. I am not doing this alone. I'm doing this with the people who I've always done this with. And for the first time in a long time, I'm having more than two guests on the show. It's a time we're having a full house. Well, Felix is not here. I would have said the entire house. You can see us wearing the T here. So yes, you can recognize that we are a team of five, usually on the show, in and out and in. But today we have four members of the crew on the show. And to my right, I have the one that did birthday on last week, 25th. It's not his birthday, but you get the man, God with us. It was his birthday the other time. How are you? How are you feeling?
Feeling good.
How is the weather?
Don't get it twisted. The fact that we're wearing just tees here is, in the words of Timaya and Buju, so cold outside, man. So it's very cold, but we're chilled. Morocco has been good so far, and I mean, we did the gliders last time. It was just I think it was
just Timothy
and Mikolo. So good to be back on camera, back on set with the guys, and let's get it rolling. Let's have it right.
All right. I mean, just like you said, this looks can be deceiving because we're putting on tees. Doesn't mean that it's not cold. It's very cold. If you've watched the last episode of Gliders, you would have gotten the gist, because I'm sure Timothy and Mikolo gave the gist about how the weather is in Fez, where we're recording from. But we are indoors today. There's a heater in this room as we're recording, so we decided to make it a bit casual, because I can't be inside and be looking like Popov now, my dears. That's why we are all chill today. But you can see we are all in stockings, thick clothes, like thick trousers. Because if you go and mess up, my dear, coach me entire body. But yeah. Talking about the cold, let me talk to the chill guy of the team, Mikolo, bad boy pastor. I don't know if that's what he wants to continue with this year. It was 2025. Well, you're a chill guy. You're a chill guy. He's a chill guy too. I mean, he's chill in his own way. I take it back. He's not a chill guy. Please. I
wanted to say, when did I become a chill guy?
I don't say you see. Person don't even hype you.
No. Okay.
Anyways, guys, you see what I'm saying. Now why they know their person with this? Mikolo is with me today.
Whatever he said doesn't change the fact that I'm still a chill guy. I mean, if you guys meet me outside, you know that I'm very chill. I actually wanted to respond to what Emmanuel said. Emmanuel said, back on camera. Camera never tire you. It's
the life he chose.
Back on the glider. 2 weeks. What do you know? What do you camera is wasn't tired for your face this last 2 weeks. But yeah, it's good to be recording again. I mean, I don't appear often on camera since we got to Morocco, guys. They've relegated me to the back. It's
now I won't help you today.
It's good to be that guy. You guys know now. I'm that guy. I can go in front and back as I want. No pun intended. I'll be faster.
I don't know, guys. I'm not sure. Last year we called him bad boy pastor. Be like that pastor. I go collect out. Make I find.
You didn't come out the right thing.
I go find something for you. That pastor no fit you. Bad boy something. I go think of it. You know be bad boy thing. I go find something for you. And of course, to the head of the Italian mafia in our team.
Italian mafia, Sico.
Where's
Just coming for that.
There's no way I would
He reached Italy, he jacked passing, I'm not a mafia yet. you know when you're in primary school and they say Boy Scouts is for those that are in secondary school and university. If you're in primary school, they call them Cop Scouts. You be called mafia.
Guys, so I always claim that I'm the last born on the team because by age I'm the youngest. But seriously, I senior person. Timothy joined us on the show today. And yes, Timothy was one of the people that recorded the last episode of the Gliders. But since that time, my dears, He's been under duvet. He's been taking a lot of medication because why? Cold entered his body and he wanted to die. He even missed going to the stadium against Tunisia, that big game against Tunisia. But how are you feeling? Are you better now? How's the experience been for you, Timothy, since that day? Because I know you've already talked about the first part of your experience.
Yeah, I feel better. I feel not 100%, but I'm better
It
than
should.
I
It
was.
should.
I'm better than I was when we played against Tunisia. I think it started that day. I could not go to the stadium, and then I missed.
And we know the reason, no. We know the reason.
What's the
why.
reason?
Tell us.
Juju.
God.
We know the reason. It's not about Tunisia game.
No, Tanzania.
No, he did Tanzania, he did
He didn't do
Tunisia.
Tunisia.
No, I
He
did
didn't go
not
to
do
stadium.
Tunisia.
on
You
Tunisia.
go press conference now.
He go ask again. He dey tackle am.
Pre-match press conference.
He say,
Someone look and say,
when I asked one question, he said, he asked, I said, as I told that your friend.
He look and
Okay, say he walk here.
like, it's you they want to send. You want to be the one. He called them for Mali straight. Say, there's this guy. Please, you guys should watch that video. There's this guy that's always troubling me in my press conferences.
I beg, next person, just take it easy for me.
I mean,
I beg.
Well, the post-match against Uganda, he allowed him shine. Even though he did not shine the way he wanted to.
and we actually spoke. We shook each other, and then
Oh,
we talked
my friend.
That's how you can record. That's how you can record. You don't release that from the movie.
I feel
need to shake it. If you shake it,
Now the answer is that
you want to release from blood. Once I touch edge of his garment,
he don't go. He don't be.
yeah, so we shook each other after the game against what was the last game?
Uganda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel better, but not 100% actually.
Don't worry, it's
But-
coming. It's coming.
it's coming.
Yeah, but I feel better, and it's really nice to shoot the gliders again. The last episode was me and Mikolo, and then all of us, like you did say, it's been a while. We had 4 on sets, and doing 4 on sets now really looks nice to do. Yeah, the AFCON just starts. The AFCON starts proper tomorrow, and that's what I see it as. So let's enjoy the show as usual.
Yeah, of course, guys, we're here to enjoy the show. But before we go into the AFCON proper, in the words of Timothy, we've had a very, very interesting 2 weeks, give or take. Yeah, if you combine the public holiday and everything. Starting with the opening ceremony in Rabat, where we had the host Morocco take on Comoros. Now, between then and now, we've had 3 rounds of games. So that's match day 1, match day 2, and match day 3. Obviously, we are here in the city where the only team being counted is the Super Eagles, but we've covered other games, the likes of
Egypt, South Africa,
Egypt and South Africa. We had Emmanuel and the other guys behind the camera go there to cover the game. You can obviously check the channel to see some of those shots right there, and also the games that will be coming up in the round of 16 quarterfinals will also have other games aside from Nigeria. If Nigeria progress, obviously they're in the next round, which means we'll cover them here in Fairs. But after that game, even if they progress, everybody leaves first. So this might be our final recording in Fairs for the gliders. The next time you see us on this channel, we might be in Marrakesh, Casablanca, Rabat, who knows, but we'll still be in Morocco. So yes, guys, it's been 3 rounds of games. It's been match day 1, match day 2, match day 3. Let me start from Emmanuel. Which of those match days was the cracker for you?
Cracker for me. Sadly, the game I saw live outside the Super Eagles wasn't much of a cracker.
Did you anticipate it better than that?
I anticipated it to be in a wonderful game. That was the Egypt and South Africa game.
You got to see your
in
idol
Agadir,
live.
but it just shank all of us from mix zone. It just walk up past, that was the only sore note. But good to see him score. Live
Just
in the
talking
stadium.
about Mo Salah,
Mo
by
Salah.
the way.
So don't get Mo Salah. That's what I'm talking about.
They know now. They see how you
Well, for new viewers, perhaps.
no, because Liverpool. We'll talk about Liverpool.
No, like
Are we
I
going to
said,
talk about
new.
Liverpool?
It's calm down now. For new subscribers, for new people that'll be watching that are not used to our
Yeah,
banter,
yeah.
obviously, we need to tell them what we're talking about.
And I mean, before I come back to the games, I mean, we had some snow fights. Mikolo yesterday, and we met an Egyptian who is an Arsenal fan, but switched because of Musala. Sorry, Mikolo. So they started supporting Liverpool, but it was fun. But back to the games. I'm sure Mikolo is going to talk about that later.
Yeah.
But that was the game I was disappointed. But I mean, the Super Eagles games, I think most of them were crackers, if you ask me. goals galore, especially that game against Tunisia. So I think that's the cracker that I watched
Same.
live. Yeah. So I have to go with the game. We've seen amazing games across board with so many goals, thrillers and all that. But I have to go with the one I saw live, which was the Super Eagles against the Carthage Eagles of Tunisia. After leading for large parts of the game, dominating for large parts, 3-0 win at some point, then 2 late goals, never finish.
Considering the penalty that was controversial.
That was controversial as well, which Bright disagrees with the referee that it wasn't a penalty. So I think that's been the game for me, the Super Eagles against Tunisia. So Battle of the Eagles.
Battle of the Eagles. For Emmanuel, for Mikolo, you've been pitch side. You've been the only one amongst us here who has been pitch side for every game we've watched. And
I'm back.
guys. Anyways, being pitch side, you've seen them closer.
Why are you guys laughing? This is front and back. This is front of camera. This side back of camera. Simple.
Why are you lying now?
Because people started busting when I said front and
I
back.
did not bust now. Did I bust? Now me ask you a question.
You signed.
Stay with me.
You signed.
Stay with me.
You are giving me a bad
Stay
name.
with me. You're going to be bad boy pastor in last year. Please. I did not give you. This year we're looking for what you're going to ask. Other pastor, we need to take it out. Anyways, you've been pitch side. You've been closer to the action. You've been getting the action. You've been freezing the action as they happen. Which of this? I'm not going to give you out to other games. Which of these 3 games was the game of the Super Eagles so far for you? We've seen Tanzania in the first game, Tunisia in the second game, Uganda, and why?
I think obviously it has to be Tunisia as well. I mean, or maybe Tanzania, right? To go away from what Ima said, I think it has to be Tanzania. I don't think I can classify Uganda as a game I covered properly because I only did one of the first half here and I had to come up for the second. But I enjoyed the Uganda game as well, probably because of the fact that we had.
One thing about photographers, they don't get to see holistic action the way we see it. Yes, they see the players close up, but when we're watching from the media tribune or watching in the media center where you have the TV, you get to see there's some action they miss that we get to tell them later. Oh, this was what was going on.
For example, against the first game against
Tanzania,
I came online to see an highlight of Alex Iwobi, and I knew he was having a very proper game, but I didn't know how much of an influence he had in that game until I came outside to watch it. So I think that's what makes the Uganda game more beautiful for me because in the second half I had to see eventually outside. Plus also the fact that we clamored for more players to come in. We clamored for the inclusion of some of these boys, and to now see that they come in and they grab their chance was really beautiful. It was also very relaxing for them as players to see that we can also step up when things are going, because I mean it's very normal for some teams in competitions where the moment you take out your majority of your first 11 in the first 2 games, you win your first 2, the third one you start struggling. I think it has happened to the Eagles on so many occasions where we have qualified, we're trying to field our second 11 or trying to give chances to some of the boys, and then they come in and they don't match the level that we expect them to. But so it was really beautiful to see that the likes of Rafael Onyedika, very happy for him. Another very underrated performance from that Uganda game was Ryan Alebiosu. I think it was really fantastic. Gives us so much options on the right back angle. I believe he can rival Bright Osai Samuel and maybe even Olaino. Fine, Olaino is a senior player who always commands the spot in the right back. But I believe that for Ryan Alebiosu, he has what it takes to be a long-standing member of the Super Eagles. Very big one for Paulo Nacho as well, because I remember when we were pitch side, he missed a very glorious chance that Osimhen gave to him, and it was really beautiful to also see that in the same breath, the same attack, he scored again. So as soon as he missed that one, the ball went out, throwing, they did all of the deeds, and then Fisayo Dele Bashiri laid that ball for him. And
in a minute,
you could see the relief from him, you could see the expressions, and I think that's the only, benefit. I think that's the only advantage that we pitch side have over those. Because I remember my friend Muzami was telling me that one enjoyable thing from pitch side is you get to hear the communication.
Yes.
So that's what you guys don't get to hear. So for me, I hear Osimhen tell Paulo Nacho, don't go, leave and no go. Because I think there was a time the Ugandan goalkeeper was trying to delay the tactics or trying to invite our pressure to come outside. But Onuachu wanted to like go, but that was going to like reshape our formation. And you could hear Captain Osimhen, because he was captain on the night, was telling Onuachu, no go, no go, no go, no go, no go. So all of those communications, and then sometimes the bench of the Super Eagles is also warming up behind us. A lot of the times, especially when we're playing, probably in the second half, when we're playing towards when we're playing towards them, and then you could hear the bench players, the likes of Awaziem, the senior players, currently warming up. They are passing information to the guys on the field of play. You hear Awaziem tell Alex Iwobi and Simon 1-1-1, 1-2-1-2, 2v1 or something like that, just to like pass the information. So I think for me, now that I've analyzed what has happened in the Uganda game, I think I'll go for the Uganda game. People would obviously choose maybe Tanzania, Tunisia for the goals, but going by the experiences, the mixture and experiences, the players that had to come in, Brian Alebiosu, Rafael Oyedika, and some of those other guys, Fisayo Dele Bashiru as well, in that Uganda game was really, really magnificent for me. So I'm going to go for the Nigeria-Uganda game.
Okay, that is Mikolo's...
I think, sorry to cut you short. Okay. I think another thing that also stands that game out is the drama. I think the drama, the red card, the
goalkeeper. We had so much drama in that game.
Like right in front of me in the first half, there were like so many stoppages
by Oyambo.
I know there was also the crashing into the board of Ryan. So we saw that live, and then we were like very bothered for him. We saw the emergency guys carry the stretchers trying to come pick him up, and then I could see Eric Chell, because they were now starting to like play a lot, and Eric Chell was like very restless, calling on the medical team that is he able to continue. He was shouting at Ryan as well that is he able to continue, and then you could see that the boy wanted to play. Those are like the raw emotions you could see on his face. I think by then the camera would not show all of those ones that are happening. They are focusing on the action that's going on. So you could see on his face that he wanted to continue. If you get a chance in the Super Eagles, you don't want to mess it up, especially, you don't know when they can call upon you again in the competition. So you could see he was just stamping the feet. He was, and to now eventually find out at the end of the game that he had a cut and he had to continue at that moment. I think it's really good.
It was from that fall,
I think it was from that fall. So he managed it after that push. And that push was very early. It was very early in the game. So he managed it all through. And then at the end of the game, we could see the pictures and the videos of him limping outside of the stadium. Then Uganda and their drama.
Three goalkeepers. I don't think it was very funny to us. I don't think I've ever witnessed it in that scenario. 3 goalkeepers has happened in football before, but the kind of circumstances in which the goalkeeper all had to come in. Oyango, who is one of the longest serving members of the Ugandan team, he's for over 40 now. He started the game, and he kept having to call for medics because he kept having to like stop the game with cramps, I don't know. But at the end of the day, the second half, we had Salem, who I think was an interesting person to join the game. Funny enough, I went into the media center and had to do something outside, and I did not continue that moment where he was brought in. In fact, by the time I got in, he was already red carded. Now, one very interesting thing is because Salem played against Eyimba in 2019 in the CAF, I think it was CAF Confederation Cup. Yes, that was when he played against Eyimba, and he played in Uyo. So I was having a conversation with a colleague at the media tribune, and they were talking about him that, oh my God, he looks so different, the age and all of that. Only for us to even miss when he was on the pitch, because by the time we were in, we found out that he had come in, he had been sent out. So I get the whole drama thing, and that's for Mikolo. Now let's go to Timothy. I know you missed the second game against Tunisia, and the first and the third game for you. Would you say that you were satisfied with what you saw in the third game, seeing that we had almost a different 11? Of course, Osimhen was there, Calvin was there, but are you satisfied with what you saw in the second? That's your second game. Were you also satisfied with the fact that we changed our formation totally, played a 4-4-2 flat, and we performed that way? Were you satisfied, or you still have some things that you are having reservation about?
I was satisfied with the game against Uganda. Watching the Super Eagles, firstly, I actually wanted us to bring in new players because, like I did say on the last episode of the Gliders, this is when you can test players you can always test these players going into the knockout stages. In the knockout stages, to get to a point where it will get difficult, and then probably Lukman is not performing, and you need to bring in someone, or Alex Iwobi is not giving you what he needs to give you, and you need to bring in someone. But if you have not tested this player, how do you call on this player? So I wanted us to play a different setup, not just in terms of the formation or approach to the game, but in terms of the personnel. And I was really glad that Richel did that, and playing Rafael Onyedika. I mean, watching him right from the beginning of the game, you saw how he dropped into the pocket of spaces, picking up the balls, trying to break into offensive transitions. And when we lost the ball, also you saw how he also tried to be the base of the defense between Calvin Bassey and Ogu in defense. So it was really nice watching Oyendika especially. And then in midfield, it was also good to see Fisayo Dele Bashiru alongside Rafael himself. And Fisayo was really good in terms of the offensive play for Nigeria. Also, Polono Achu, I liked the way he won a couple of duels in the game. He missed a couple of chances, yes, but aside the chances he missed, he scored a goal, and then his winning of duels, the way he also linked up with Moses Simon and Bruno Emechi on the side of the attacking which he played was really something I enjoyed. And Rafael also, linking up with Rafael was also good. And then also trying to link up with Osimhen was something I really enjoyed. So I enjoyed the game, and I really like the fact that Coach Erichel brought in new players. Also in the early beginning of the second half, he took off Calvin Bassey and brought in Chidozie Awazim. So it's really nice that he tested these players in this game. Also testing Rihanna Lebioshu, like Nicolo had talked about, was really nice. So really interesting that you get to test these players, because it will get to a stage in the knockout positions where you really need to call some of these players. So if you have not tested them and you just bring them on that big stage, it can be frightening for them. So really enjoyed it. And aside the Nigerian part of games, and some other games that I really enjoyed was the final set of games. I think Zimbabwe against South Africa, a 3-2 game.
3-2, yeah.
At a point, Zimbabwe got the lead.
Yeah.
South Africa got the lead and equalizer, and then Zimbabwe equalized, and South Africa got a 9-minute winner.
Penalty,
So for Gabon against Ivory Coast as well, Gabon were leading 2-0 at halftime, and then before you knew it, the coach of Ivory Coast, Emas Faye, he had rested players, but I think at that point he knew that, okay, this is getting beyond what we wanted. They are probably going to finish third at the point, and you probably do not want to face a difficult team. I know that the way the AFCON has looked is difficult. It's hard that you don't face a difficult team. The way the two parts, part A or part B, looks like, but you don't want it to come very early sometimes. So
because it's a knockout stage, and there's no turning back.
Exactly. So it brought in the players they had rested in the first half, and then before you knew it, they turned it around in the second half. They scored 3 goals and won the game. So those have been the interesting games for me so far at the AFCON. And yeah, the business side of things starts now.
Was it with 3-2 scoreline? About 4 games I can recall with that same scoreline. Nigeria, Tunisia as well, 3-2. Gabon, Mozambique, 3-2. You talked about Zimbabwe, South Africa, and Gabon, Ivory Coast as well. So I mean, it's good to see these sort of games bring up the energy towards just 9 minutes.
Of course, talking about the games we've seen, that's for the 3 games, the 3 round of games. The team of the group stage is out, and the only country to have more than 1 player is the host Morocco, where they had Brahim Diaz and of course Mazraoui. Those are the 2 players from Morocco to make it in a 4-4-3 or 4-3-3 formation. We have the person who is the coach of the group stage as the only man to have gotten, or one of the 2 coaches to have gotten all maximum points in their group game, and that's no other than Nigeria's Eric Shaw. Well, for the players,
Not his friend.
not his friend. Anyways, for the players, let's start from the back, where we have Egyptian El Shanawi. We have in the 4-back line, the defense, we have
Shanawi, does he age?
I mean, when I saw
goalkeepers generally, they get better with age. The older they are, the better they become.
Exactly.
That's the thing with they're like wine.
Yeah, wine. I was going to say that. Now for the 4-man defense, we have Audi from Tunisia.
Abdi.
But yes, we have. I'm not disputing him being there, but I'm just saying. I mean, when you came against Nigeria,
No, you can dispute. I mean,
no,
because
I'm saying. I'm not saying. I'm saying it's not obviously I can dispute. I'm just saying for this particular list, this is the first time that I'm seeing a group stages that I don't have any argument about from CAF. During the WAFCON, I was arguing about it because there was no way we would not have certain players from the Nigerian team, despite them finishing with a very good group stage record. But let's go back to this. We have Tom Sobe from Burkina Faso. We have Twanzebe from DR Congo and Mazarawi, obviously, from the host nation Morocco. For the three-man midfield, we have Ademola Lookman, the only Nigerian on that list, with 4 goals contribution, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 4 goals, 2 goals, 2 assists. We have Baleba from Cameroon, and we have Brahim Diaz from Morocco. Now, for the front line... Anyways, we have for the front line we have.
I would have preferred Unai there though. Unai of Morocco, but I mean.
No, but Baliba, I like Baliba. Yeah, I think he's been one of the standout players for Cameroon. You know, I'm talking about preferring him in the squad.
Yeah, that's
what you would have preferred.
Yeah.
So I think I'm okay with Baliba.
Well, okay. Maybe I'll allow you guys to talk about players you think should have made the top 11. But for me, I think I'm okay with this. But I'm just reading it out for our viewers. And then for the front three, we have Riyad Mahrez from the Algerian side. One of the 2 teams, that's the Super Eagles and Nigeria, are the only 2 teams to have maximum points all through the group stage. So every other team dropped points. Nigeria and, of course, this country, Algeria, both picked up 9 points from a possible 9. So Riyad Mahrez.
Am I the only one? I'm worried about the fact that Mahrez has its top form at this AFCON.
Well, we'll get to see if that will translate in the knockout stages because it's a different ball game, like you said. For the other men, we have Sadio Mane from Senegal and someone who is lighting up this AFCON. I mean, he got the opportunity, he took it by the scruff of the neck, talking about Amad Diallo from Cote d'Ivoire. And it's good to see that, when we didn't have a player like Adingra making the team, people were asking, someone that was part of the team that won the last AFCON, won the AFCON for you guys, not going. But someone that's joined the team now is obviously making good use of his time. So who do you think should have been on this list that is not on this list, the top 11 for the group stage?
I think, I don't know why, I feel El Kabi should be there. And El Kabi and... is it Brahim Diaz?
Yeah, Brahim Diaz is there. So it was Diaz and Mazraoui that made it from the...
Okay. I think El Kabi should be there because he has been crucial. His goals have actually proved crucial.
So who does he displace on this team?
Sadio Mane, no disrespect to him. And I feel Unai should replace Baliba for me. Though that one is that one is really not on the top for me. But I feel I prefer Unai. But yeah, if it probably happened, people would argue that, okay, why are too many Moroccans there? So maybe there's that balance. But I feel Unai ahead of Baliba, and then El Kabi should displace Sadio Mane.
Okay, Piccolo, do you have any argument?
I think my only exclusion was definitely El Kabi as well. I feel like he's been very integral to Morocco, to them playing so much, and then he's lit up the tournament as well with those goals, those overhead kicks, and he's contributing even just more than the goals as well. So I don't think I've seen so much influence from Sadio Mane. Even the Senegalese team, they are firing, right? But I don't think Sadio Mane has been that influential as he would normally be.
I think Nicholas Jackson has been more influential on that team.
Well, I'm not limiting his contributions, but when it comes to overall best in that positions, definitely I should draw for El Kabi.
Sebastian?
I don't know if situations like this, when you do a combined 11, if position matters, because you could see they're trying to fit,
like I said, fit
everyone, just in that position and fit everyone in. But I think I would push Lookman up to where Sadio Mane is, then I'll bring in, I think there's Ibrahim Maza guy who plays for Liverpool, he plays for Algeria. I think he's been one of their standout midfielders as well. So maybe correcting in terms of position, just put Maza where Lookman is, then Lookman where Mane is. I think that's what I would do.
At the end of the day, when you look at the Nigerian team, Lookman necessarily doesn't even play as much as at that position that they are fixing him in.
That's why I asked that question. So
I think it's just the way.
Exactly.
The way
so
tournament football is 11s are usually made. You never see them doing a 2-5-3, all those things. They usually stay with the standard.
I don't think Lookman has even played the wings for us this tournament. It's been
Being
Osimhen
behind,
and
yeah.
Osimhen and Akko Adams up front.
And then
Well,
It depends on the game.
we
At
actually
times he
we had Chukwueze start in the first game, so at a point he had to play behind.
Shuko is on this side, but
Yes.
Ademola has always been that focal man in between.
behind
The diamond, the top of the diamond.
yeah.
like I said, it depends on how the game goes
Our
sometimes
diamond.
because
Our
Diamond.
yeah, so
darling diamond.
Darling
the cross for Osimhen was he was in his regular
He
wing
was
position where he
regular
pulled
wing,
across. So
yeah.
sometimes
That was the first time
the
he
game is
drifted to that
different. Yeah.
position in the game, and then from
the
there we
game's
got
different.
that
So
cross.
sad that there's no Calvin Bassey in this list. He's been
I
fantastic.
feel the
but,
reason why Kambi Bassey was
you
not
know,
there is the last game he didn't.
aside from that, I
And
feel
then we
because
considered so many goals.
yeah, we consider goals, and I mean it's just sad because he's also been
Brilliant,
if you
yeah.
ask me, maybe our best player, you know, so far in the group stage this AFCON. But
Really?
I mean, yeah, Calvin Bassey.
over Ademola Lookman.
Yeah, I think
Interesting.
I think there's been so many shouts. I don't think. I think it's very,
so many
very
shouts.
hard.
I want to pick
It's
one.
hard, yeah.
So I don't want
Calvin will be
to
there
stay on
up
the
front,
fence.
but I think there's
And
like
he's my
so
pick.
many names that can come out to be like best player in the group stage. There's Calvin, there's Ademola Lookman,
There is 17 Alex.
there's Alex. Alex
But
has
you
been
also
there
look
as well.
at. I think you also look at
Underrated
the
players
games
too,
he
Akko
played.
Adams.
Akko Adams, yes.
Underrated,
yes.
yes.
Well, so
Akko.
let's shift the conversation to Eric because I mean we are here in first, so let's focus on the Super Eagles. 3 games, 3 wins. Before we talk about the PTSD of 2011, let's talk about
2021.
2021. I beg your pardon. Now let's talk about the Super Eagles in this tournament. Let's start from you, where you talked about the underrated players in this team. Let's start with Akko Adams. Akko Adams looks like that faithful servant that whenever he's called upon, he always wants to come in and deliver. And he has taken his chance by the scruff of the neck. Unlike many other players that have come in and then they've struggled to replicate the form they show in club football in the national team. He did not do that. From the very first game, he got his debut, got a goal, and it has been upward rise for him. How much of an impact has it? I mean, let's leave the qualifiers. Let's talk about the AFCON. How much of an impact has it been on this team in FAIR so far?
I think in football, right, players think as well. Players understand dynamics of the team. And if you're a player that don't look at dynamics of the team, you're going to struggle a lot. If they're playing as a 4-4-2 in Nigeria, unfortunately, you're a Robin to the Batman. There's no two ways about it. The moment you try to be the Batman yourself, you're going to have issues, right? And I think he understood that so well, understood the dynamics so well before coming into the team. We saw a glimpse of that in the qualifiers, came into the AFCON and he has continued that, right? Tolu Arokodare seemed to be that guy in the qualifiers until he was given the mantle to like lead when Osimhen went, and then sadly, unfortunately, he came right on the eve of AFCON, right? Messed it up, and now he's not in the AFCON. The likes of Boniface have also tried to be Robin, but they didn't Robin well. So I feel like in the last few times, in the last few months, the last few games that we've seen, this is the best Robin that we've seen to our Batman. Because obvious, I don't know, it's normal.
Before you continue, think of any other Robin to Batman we've had in the Super Eagles for you before this certain.
I think it's Emenike and Ideye. They rub off on each other, but I don't know. Okay, it was Emenike that was the ISO scorer, so it was the Batman. Ideye was the Robin. So definitely there has to be a Robin. You cannot deny it, right? You can only try, because we are countrymen. Sometimes we try to see finish. When they released the top 10 ISO scorers in 2025, Victor Osimhen was number 5. Messi, they are tied on goals. Do you understand? So, and that's like greatest of all time level. Do you understand?
Well, that's the finish.
Yeah,
I just remember that he always gets a new name in every international window.
Now they are calling him
Ecowas Salad.
Ecowas Alan.
Osimhen is Ecowas Salad currently.
No matter how we want to look at it, Osimhen is the star boy of this team. Osimhen is the number 9 of this team. He's one of the greatest strikers. He's on course to become one of our greatest strikers. If he wins the AFCON, gets on to like win other little things, he competes with the likes of Rashid Yakin. He sits at their
If
table.
he wins the AFCON, it's the greatest for me.
He sits at their table. Ballon d'Or,
Greatest for you.
Syria.
In Nigeria, who else? I mean, if you win,
He might not get to play a World Cup. Others have won the AFCON and gone to the World Cup.
There are so many
World
players.
Cup.
There are so many players
Yes.
that have not played World Cup, and they are also great players. So I mean, it doesn't.
I think
Mention one.
that one is susceptible.
No, mention
yes.
one. We've missed out before he set. We've missed out of just one World Cup. That was 2000. When
Let, let,
like
let's not delve on the
I'm just saying. I'm just
argument.
saying.
I mean,
For
it's
me,
not going
I
to be
think that
arguable
would be.
because the Ballon
I
d'Or
agree.
covers everything.
Well, I agree that he is one of the greatest strikers right now, even if he doesn't win this AFCON, because there's no way you tell me that someone who is behind goals to Rashidi Yekini might end up getting to hit and even surpass that record.
So now let me tell you where I go to back up Timothy about him eventually becoming greatest Nigerian striker. Okocha never did Okocha. How many AFCONs did Okocha win?
He has not won any. He won one. That was he was part of the 1994. Oh, he was very young. I always don't remember. Well, yeah, and then he won the Olympics.
So obviously, irrespective of what we feel like Okocha didn't win the African Player of the Year.
I said strikers.
And all of this. Wait, I'm saying, like, now, years after, look at what we are experiencing in Morocco when it comes to JJ Okocha. If you go to Turkey, JJ Okocha. If you go to everywhere, JJ Okocha is the face of Nigerian football in so many places.
Yeah.
So when it comes
in the
to
world,
that time,
actually.
yeah, in the world when it comes to that place, where just mentioned JJ Okocha, our driver knows JJ Okocha, everybody knows JJ Okocha.
Yeah.
So eventually, we that are football enthusiasts, if we say we need Victor Osimhen to win the AFCON, I'm saying even if he doesn't win it, I'm telling you 10 years from now, Victor Osimhen will be seen as one of the greatest strikers, even ahead of Rashidi Yekini. If he surpasses that.
We go to the stadium. Who makes the Victor Osimhen chance more?
Who makes the chance more? Yeah,
so let's go back to Akko Adams. So obviously, Osimhen, greatest Nigerian striker, very soon. Maybe when we now start to think about achievements for the national team, there can be like some question marks, but he's done it on the 17 level. The same way JJ Okocha won the Olympics. They are not on the same par, but yes, we won the under 17 World Cup as a scorer. There's so many. On his birthday, like 3 days ago,
you could Christmas see Day, I think.
You could see like all of the timeline. ISO scorer this, ISO scorer that, league year, 8th Ballon d'Or. He won the CAF Player of the Year. So I mean, what's there again? So let's talk about Akko Adams. So that's the whole point of this. So I think Akko understands the dynamics, is coming to the team and knows that if you want to be, I don't think any coach will sacrifice Victor Osimhen for you as a striker that are coming. No coach wants to go against a Victor Osimhen in a team because of the level of the name that he carries. It's just like wanting to sacrifice Haaland in a team. Jose Mourinho would rather die than say somebody should take over from Drogba. You will come and play with him. So you have to find a way to play with him. You have to find a way. Arsene Wenger will not joke with Thierry Henry in this time. So managers know the names that they have to say. Mikel Obi said it in his podcast the other time that Terry, Drogba, Lampard, those three, they can sack a manager at Chelsea. So if you want to, you cannot upset Victor Osimhen for anybody in this Nigerian team as it stands currently. So obviously he understands and he's done that well. It also helps that he was a fan of Victor Osimhen even before he came into the national team. So he takes every day as it comes, knows that this is the big name in the air and he plays for him, and it's just very sacrificial. Doesn't go for personal glory that often. So obviously that's why he fits in so well, and people see his work ethic. People see his sacrifices, and it's really nice for him. And I feel like if he continues that way, perfect Robin, good.
Okay, let me come to Emmanuel on this. Emmanuel, this is your second AFCON live, but you've seen other AFCONs that we've played. The 2023 AFCON that was played in 2024. Obviously, we watched that. We all witnessed that too. But for your live AFCONs, this is the second one. And I want to talk about Alex Iwobi in the national team in an AFCON. Yes, he has been a long-serving member of the team, a decade already as a Super Eagle. Which of these AFCONs, I'm saying so far, which of these AFCONs do you think that you've seen the best of Alex Iwobi play as a Super Eagle?
I would say this one.
Okay.
Because in the 2021 edition, which was played in 2022, I was in Cameroon. When you mentioned my second live AFCON, I just remember.
That was why I said it, because I
just remembered Legbete, how he always say, how I made it to the AFCON, but that's another topic.
Tell us about it, please.
No,
tell us.
Okay, it was
playing Cameroon.
It was a Super Eagles AFCON for me, because after we started the comeback, it was a good experience. Lagos to Abuja to Yola, and then from Yola to Cameroon.
No, this thing you're doing, you're just
The-
doing hand. Explain,
no,
how did you travel?
That's what I'm saying. Lagos to Abuja was by flight.
Yeah.
Abuja to Yola by flight. Then the real journey was from Yola to Cameroon, where we went through the waters. I mean,
Did you?
know,
Were you?
boats.
Why? You
Yeah,
went through
yeah.
ferry actually,
Yeah.
not boats. So
So
ferry.
you know.
Were you?
Was it-
Were you sick on?
No,
water?
I wasn't.
Because
I wasn't. It's not like a standard ferry actually,
Yeah.
but it was kind of
Did
it was
you-
rough
did
on
you
the ice.
vomit?
It was
'Cause
my, no, I
I
did
know
not.
you did
I'm
not.
very good at adapting to such situations. It was scary because it was
Yeah.
my first time, so it was like over 2 hours.
Alone?
No, not alone. Me and
Alone.
Benga Salu, shout out. So just both of us. So it was a 2 hour ride. We were putting on a life jacket too, but
2 hours.
it was scary. The should I say the ferry or it was speeding all through. Like these guys, they are now they are roads be that, so they need to fear anything. And I don't know how to swim. So it's one thing I don't know how to do. So I don't know how to swim. So I tried to hold myself. I couldn't even bring out my phone. That's to tell you how. I don't know if now you did it, you don't fine. You're kind of bad, but
Finish it.
I couldn't. That's to tell you,
Let's go.
I was just focused on the journey all through. Then when we got to, the other side, got to Cameroon, then it was by road, another 2 hours road trip where we just sandwiched ourselves inside the car and no man's land. We're just trying to make ends meet. Then we got to Garra finally, straight to the stadium. Then we booked an apartment. It was a good experience. From the apartment where it was too costly, then we went to a church apartment where we have this kind of
Bunk beds
and all that. Yeah. So we with Omar, OJB and the likes, and we were together in Cameroon as well. So it was a good experience. I enjoyed it. So that was my journey. This one is far better than how I got there then. But I didn't even go that time with accreditation. But I was able to see some games. No accreditation. But because I wanted by all means, if not this Cameroon.
For the love of Super Eagles, you see how much we love you.
So that was how, exciting it was for me. Though it's tough on the outside, but it was an experience for me.
But it is your first AFCON, because I'm counting this as your second AFCON.
It was my first. So, but Super Eagles, and they lived up to it. Group stages, we were flying. Egypt first game, Mero pocketed Musala, we're dunking everybody. Guinea-Bissau next game was scoring. Moses Simon was on another level. 1v1 beast in that AFCON. Anybody will come
He showed
from.
glimpse of it against Uganda actually. He showed glimpse of it
Simon
against
dribble
Uganda.
everybody.
Yeah.
So it was the group stage.
Like 4. I remember
Yes.
one goal like that. Pa, 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 pa.
It was
Enter everybody
fantastic. Then we got to Tunisia, and it happened.
Now we're
It
back
happened.
to Alex Iwobi, because
So,
that was the game.
Exactly, that's what I
so
wanted to
let's go there.
To be honest, Alex Iwobi came on to do a job in that game, and so far he was doing it well until that red card, where he got red carded. So he was brought into that game to do a job.
That was where his beginning of being the scapegoat started.
That red card just changed everything, and then Maduka Okoye happened, which to me, I still won't fault him for that goal, but that's another conversation. So, talking about Alex, I think this is the best AFCON we've seen so far. In the game against Uganda, his parents were in the stadium. We saw him walk past us.
I think they've been in every game.
Yeah, we saw him walk past us when we were doing our, build up to the game. Sadly, we couldn't have him for an interview because we are still trying to set up. But he's been interviewed by other.
Yeah,
I
saw the dad outside the stadium after.
He was interviewed by other
Tunisia,
athletes. So he spoke about how Iwobi has been criticized, talking about his football background and all that. So I think everybody will agree that this AFCON has been Iwobi's best AFCON so far. And long may he continue. Like you said, he's been one of the most maligned Super Eagles player so far. And he's been trying to move on from it so far. But it's been wonderful. This AFCON, for me, if you ask me, is the best we've seen Alex Iwobi so far.
And why has this been his best AFCON? Can you tell us? Do you know why? I know mentally we might not be able to know what has happened, but based on the position, based on the formation, based on the teammates he's playing with in this current AFCON, what do you think?
He's embraced a leadership role in the team, and experience matters. When you play 1-2 and you've been with the team for a long time, you tend to see where you try to adjust or see where you try to grow more into the game. So I think he's grown into that team. He's grown more as a leader. It's not the ability has always been there, Iwobi, but it's just that he's not shown it when it comes to the Super Eagles. I mean, we've seen glimpses with club size and all that. But when it
I
comes to
think
the
he
Super
has
Eagles,
shown it.
it's not been consistent. If you ask me, it's not
I know.
shown that much.
Now why I know ask you, Alex
So
Iwobi,
I know.
Calm down, calm down.
They are staunch Iwobi people, but
Please.
he's not been consistent with the national team. But so far in this one, I think he's embraced that role. That okay, I own this midfield. It is me. It is my time, to shine. It is my time to show that okay, I've got what it takes. So dropping deeps, receiving balls, sprint passes. I think we'll see more of that this half from Alex Iwobi. So I mean, long may it continue.
Long
and
may
we
it
hope
continue.
he stays consistent.
Yeah, I mean, against that game against the Carthage Eagles, I was looking forward to him actually making a statement. The statement he was supposed to make against them in 2021, and he owned that game. Was not as much as he did against Tanzania, but yes, you could see that he was also one of the men that if they had given him the man of the match, many people wouldn't even argue because yes, he balled his self out that particular day, and that's been for Alex Iwobi. Now let's go to the other parts of the team. We've talked about Akwa Adams, we've talked about Alex Iwobi. Now let's go to the back where I think we still have a lot of issues, especially because some of the men that make the pillar of the team are missing due to retirement and injuries. Let me start with retirement because the captain of the side, who was the MVP of the last AFCON, by the way, Triseko, announced the retirement just days before the AFCON. Now, two other players that are main part of that back line missed out on injuries. Ola, just coming back from recovering from the injury he picked up against South Africa in the World Cup qualifiers, yet to play a competitive game for the Super Eagles since then. In fact, he's just getting in to play with the other 21s at Nottingham Forest to get back in form. So there was no way he could full fitness for him to make it to the AFCON this year. Now, the other player who a lot of people were relying on since he was introduced to the team, first of all, we saw him in the Unity Cup, talking about Benjamin Frederick, and then in the World Cup qualifiers, everybody felt like, oh God, we have finally found someone that would make that backline solid. Missed out, unfortunately, due to an injury picked up in his club. Now, coming into this AFCON, obviously, the coach had to make do of what he has and call in other new players. We've seen the likes of Ryan and other names that made it into the team in the defense line. I'm not mentioning other departments. Igbo. Now, we have played 3 games. Let me start with Timothy. We've played 3 games. We've seen 2 different setup in that back line. What do you think Eric Shell can do to ensure that we stop
Are you asking
becoming
me a tactical question about Eric Chell?
You're not
Maybe
Chelsea,
watch
so I can
this
ask you.
video now.
You're not Chelsea, I can ask you. And I know
Maybe watch
that
this video now.
for some reason, I always like to ask you the tactical question because you're the
Maybe watch this
you're the
video
writer
now.
of
So
the
wait
team.
till
Don't worry,
you
don't worry. Don't worry. You don't go answer. Now why we ask
It's
you?
responsibility.
It's my
Try to keep
not my responsibility. What's that word he always gives me? You tell me,
Vision.
This is
He's
my
always
vision.
talking
It's
about
my
vision.
vision. It's my vision. It's my team.
my
I will
responsibility.
take the risk. I take the risk.
This
And
is my team.
This is my team.
Tactics.
So yes, what
I
do you
beg,
think?
don't cut this part out.
What do you think can be done to that backline? Because at some point, questions have been asked about why we keep conceding. Yes, we finished 9 points out of 9. What do you think can be done to ensure that when we meet crazier teams, stronger teams in the competition, and then we don't get to score as many goals? If we score 1 goal, why are we not supposed to lock shop and ensure that we carry out 1 goal? What do you think can be done?
As funny as it seems, I don't think our defense have been bad. They may have conceded 4 goals, but they've not been bad. If you look at the game against Tanzania, and that was what made me ask him the question where he thought I was probably trying to attack him. I mean, if you look at the goal we conceded against Tanzania, let me start off with that. I think our fullbacks were having issues with the Tanzanian crosses. I mean, Tanzania put in a lot of crosses, and before you knew it, the one that led to the goal, you saw Zaidu Sanusi left his man, and then at the back post, the goal strode into the back of Stanley Wabali. In the game itself, I don't think Tanzania had goals coming in between Semi Ajayi and Kabi Bassi in balls that could have led to goals being scored at Stanley Wabali. And that's why I said, as funny as it may seem, but considered in every game, I don't think our defense have been bad. In the game against Tunisia, even though I did not watch the game live. At least I followed it while I was back home. The penalty goal is not something you can say is off the defense making a mistake. And the first goal that Tunisia also scored. And the only one I may really have an issue with is the one we considered against Uganda, because I felt that there was this player, Bruno Yemechi and Stanley and Chidozie Awazie, and they were triggered. And there's one thing they call pressing triggers. Before you make that move, be careful of how much scanning. Make a lot of scanning and know that, okay, if you make this move, even if you
Before
fall
you
out
jump.
of position, yeah, exactly.
Before you jump.
Is there anybody there to cover for me? Bruno Yemechi had made the move, and then before you knew it, Awaziem had also made a move, and before you knew it, the striker that scored the goal was true on goal. So I don't want to say our defense has been really bad as much as we have considered 4 goals. Looking at the pairing against Tunisia and Tanzania, which we think is the number 1 pairing for the team, the first goal we considered against Tanzania, I think, was our fullback making issues, and that's why I asked Eric Chell. So I feel like for that, there's nothing you can do about that rather than call your fullbacks so that for them to be watchful. Maybe it's the work of the central defenders to let them know that, okay, watch your left side of the post, watch your right side of the post, be careful when the crosses are coming in. And for Stanley, for Calvin and Semi themselves, and they're already forming a compact shape whenever they are defending behind Stanley Nwabali. And for your fullbacks, ensure that, okay, when the crosses are coming, or if you overlap or go out of position, try to get your midfielder. Maybe that's where Wilfred Ndidi comes in. Probably shift. Of course, when your fullback goes out, the left side defender goes to this side, and then probably the defensive midfielder drops very deep to cover for this central defender that has moved out of that side. So before all of the runs come back from the fullback, then everything can form a shape well. So I don't feel like we've really had it bad defensively. Watching the game holistically, I know that 4 goals can be said that, okay, we have considered 4 goals, but really when you look at it analytically, it doesn't mean that the defense have been so shaky and they've not been able to hold their grounds against these players. Although you could say that, okay, we have not faced real attackers. When I mean real attackers, strikers that could be scary. I mean, Tanzania do not have a striker that we could say, okay, scares us. Uganda also do not have a striker that we could say, okay, scares us. So maybe just Tunisia have, I think this, what's the name of this guy? I can't remember his name right now. This Celtic guy that came into the game against Nigeria. I can't remember his name right now. But they don't have top attackers that we could say that, okay, when we are playing maybe against the likes of Algeria, the likes of Riyad Mahrez, or if you are playing against Senegal, Mane, Nicolas Jackson, or if you are playing against DR Congo, Bokonda, Bakambu, and all of these players. So we have been solid defensively, even though the record or the stats do not show it. So I don't think there's really a lot to be scared of, rather than the fullback watching the back post when the crosses come into the area of the box 18, and maybe Stanley Nwabali also has to ensure that he calls his players into action. Whenever you see those balls coming into the dead areas, ensure. That's why keepers, as a keeper, you can see everything. Communicate well to your players and call them to order. If they make the mistake the first time, call them right from that instance. Let them know that, okay, you have done it this time, we have gotten away with it. We may not get away with it if it happens in 2 more instances. So I think these are the way we can fix all of this defense. But 1 penalty, 1 back post cross, and 2 goals from maybe just, okay, those are the 2 goals I can say that we considered from defensive lapses.
Ugandan goal too.
Yeah, that's why I said the Uganda and the one against Tunisia and the one against Tanzania. I don't think real panic should call for. We should call for real panic in terms of what the defense are doing. But let me make this shout out to Calvin Bassey. Aside his defensive action, I've seen so much of what he has done attacking wise.
The long balls.
Long balls. Sometimes the runs he makes, like going into the final third.
Yeah, and then his crossfield passes. I mean, I've seen so many crossfield passes in the game against Tanzania. And there were a lot of crossfield passes to Chukwueze, and that was what led to Chukwueze getting into the action so many times. In the one against Uganda, also so many crossfield passes that led to Chukwueze actually getting into the attacking stride as well. So kudos to Calvin Bassey.
You might not be crazy at the end of the day, Sha, when you said you were going to give him the captain armband. Remember? So maybe he's going into that defensive role.
I
as well.
mean, exactly.
Okay, going into the round of 16, what are your expectations from the Super Eagles and, of course, other teams? Let's start from Mikolo, the Super Eagles against Mozambique. Are you expecting it to be a walk in the park, or do you think that we should tread carefully against Mozambique?
I don't think there's going to be a game that's going to be a walk in the park. I mean, if we're playing Tanzania 3-1 and Tunisia 3-2, Uganda 3-1, if you go into the round of 16, there could be shockers. I mean, we had even a much more complete performance in 2021. We got knocked out in the round of 16. So the Tunisia side, I didn't threaten us until that game. So, I mean, from every game onward, I would expect that the Super Eagles will start the game the way they usually start previous games on the front foot. But also make sure that we finish well, because we've not finished properly. Every time we're leading, we allow the opponents back into the game. We allow them their spell of the own game. So for both the coaching crew and the players themselves, they have to make sure that they are on form when it comes to the substitutions, right? The players mentally should stay locked into the game as well for the entirety of the 90 minutes. This is a knockout stage now. We have to be very solid defensively. Our defense has been a suspect. I mean, you don't allow teams that are 3 go ahead to come 2 goals back, or a goal back, or a 1 goal back. There are teams that can go ahead to hunt you. Against Tunisia, if the Tunisia game was in the round of 16 of the knockout stage, I can bet with you that they will give us more pressure to equalize 3-3, because they eventually had some other chances at the end of the game that they didn't convert. If it was the knockout stage, they probably have converted out and would have gone into extra time. So be better, wrap up games early, because now we're going to the knockout stages, which means that you don't want to be tired. If you are going 120 minutes, it affects you in the next game. So wrap up the games early, make your 90 minutes, get your win, stay focused at the back, stay disciplined at the back, and keep your goal shots, finish, and then let's take it up from there. Hopefully we can go all the way. I mean, this was how it started in 2023 when I was in Abidjan as well. Before, you know, we even started facing big teams early. Round of 16, we're facing Cameroon. Quarterfinals, we faced a high-flying Angola side. Semi-final, we faced South Africa. There were no easy teams en route. But what saved us in the knockout game was a very resolute defense. And that was because Jose Peseiro employed 5 at the back. So we're very, very solid defensively. So now that we're going into the knockout stages, be clinical, be solid defensively, finish your games, and be focused for the entire 90 minutes. Finish 90 minutes. If you go beyond, you're affecting the next game, and then
Yeah, the next round, hopefully the Super Eagles make it to the next round, which is going to be the quarterfinals. But talking about round of 16, because of our time, I'll just be handpicking certain games and allowing some of the guys talk about the game. For you, Emmanuel, you saw South Africa against Egypt, so I'll talk about South Africa versus Cameroon and South Africa. South Africa has had a really shaky start to their AFCON this time around, but they are in the round of 16 now. Last time out, they fell out in the semi-finals, but finished top 3. They won bronze in the last AFCON. Do you think that Cameroon is the team that will send them back home, or this is where they are going to pick up that form they had in the last AFCON?
Good to see Cameroon at the round of 16 for all the troubles leading up to the AFCON, for all the drama. Finally in the round of 16.
2 squads.
Yeah, 2 squads and all that. But
no World Cup.
I think there'll be a tough nut to crack for South Africa. Hugo Bruce coming up against a team he won the AFCON with in 2017. Yeah, Cameroon won the AFCON, so it was Hugo Bruce who led them to winning the AFCON. So still familiar with some couple of the players.
AFCON, by the way.
Basagog was in the squad then.
30-year-old Basagog.
It was, I mean, that's another conversation. Let's not get into that. But, you know, Basagog now, the captain of this present Cameroon squad in the AFCON. So it's going to be a tough game. I just don't know. I just see Cameroon maybe. I want South Africa to go through, but Cameroon, something in me is telling me that Cameroon might just, snatch it in the end. South Africa have not been convincing. I mean, they played against their brothers, Zimbabwe. They almost lost that game. They won by 3-2. They've not been any...
I think Zimbabwe has just been a very hard knock for them to crack in recent years. Yeah. They didn't beat them in the World Cup qualifier,
exactly.
So, and now they came back again.
They've not been high-flying. I mean, this is the same manager who is talking about not feeling the vibes at the AFCON. Hugo Bruce, he spoke extensively. That he's not seen the vibes, what he saw in Ivory Coast, blah, blah, blah. He saw crowd following bosses and all that. Eric Schell is having none of that. He wants to focus on his football. He doesn't care about the vibes.
We'll talk about the vibes.
He has the loss, yeah. So right now, they feel like they achieve one of the two. AFCON, they might win.
So
Even if they don't win the AFCON, I don't think their fans will be angry.
So Cameroon on paper, I mean, one of the household names when it comes to African football, but so far this AFCON, they've been like the dark horse, and I think they might just nick it from South Africa.
Okay, so 5-time champion against a 1-time champion. Team Emmanuel is giving it to Cameroon to nick it slimly against that against Bafana. Now, Timothy, to you, I think this is another cracker of a game. Algeria versus DR Congo. How do you see this panning out?
It's going to be very tough. I feel like I would see a 120 minutes action in this game because Algeria are very decent. They're playing so well. Mahrez, like I did say earlier, Mahrez has picked up form at the right time. He's delivering so well.
Is it a North African thing? Because the last time they won an AFCON, or the only time they've won it twice, yeah? Algeria have 2 AFCONs, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 2 or 1?
I think 2019.
Yeah, but I'm saying, is it 2 or 1 AFCONs?
I don't know, but I know 2019
they won
was
it in Egypt. So is it a North African thing for Algeria whenever they're in their space?
I don't know if I'll say it's that way, but I just feel like the team has its stride at this point in time. I'm coming into the AFCON. I don't think they were.
Twice, yeah.
I don't think they were going to be tipped as one of the favorites to win the AFCON. But
I never saw them even doing so well.
At this point in time, they are one of the favorites. You can't rule them out. Coming against DR Congo also in recent times, they've grown into that space of being that team and I know how to play. And when you're coached by a coach, Sebastian Desabre, is very, very good. Been with African football for a very long time. So I expect it to be a very tactical game and maybe mistakes in the end or penalties would decide. So I would expect to see 120-minute affair in this one.
Okay. Finally, to Emmanuel again, I'll come back to you for this. Other games will be Egypt versus the Republic. Sorry, I'm not disrespecting anything, but I think Egypt has, in the form of their life, and the Republic.
No one get no troll.
I know not to, but I think that the form in which they were in before they met Nigeria in the World Cup qualifiers, since that time, it has been a downward slope to the extent that they wanted to even start getting trouble before the AFCON, but because he had a contract, he was able to stay. So I don't think it's going to be more, even if they go on to win, I think it's going to be an upset against Egypt. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So the other game that I think is going to be a cracker is the game between Ivory Coast versus Burkina Faso. 2 powerhouses in African football. Not even because of the trophies won or anything. I'm just saying an AFCON. When it comes to an AFCON, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, 2 crazy countries. Now, Emmanuel, how do you see this one panning out? Defending champion, they picked up from the round of 16 in the last AFCON. Do you think that this is the time they will continue with the form? Because this time around it has been somewhat of a shaky start. At some point, they were almost looking like they would finish as the 3rd best team, imagine. And then now they are in this and they are going to face Burkina Faso. How do you see this panning out for them?
Yeah, we're too strong for Burkina Faso. I mean, the same manager, first who won it, is still there with the squad. And I mean, if you are a team who could come from 2 goals down in such a crucial final group game. I mean, Group F have been messy. It's been a tough group so far. So many changes in that final group game. But Ivory Coast eventually, going on to top the group. I think they'll be too strong for Burkina Faso. Yes, you talked about Burkina Faso and the AFCON. They always, find a way to, do something when it comes to the AFCON tournament, but not this same Burkina Faso squad. Yes, I remember when we played them in the finals in 2013 as well. Banse and the likes, yeah. So where is he now these days? We don't know. But, I think Ivory Coast will be too strong. I see them going all the way as well because, I mean, they've got a decent manager who's familiar with the player. And I like the fact that he's brought in some couple of, fresh bloods, in the squad as well. I like Doué. I mean, the brother of Desiree Doué who plays for France, plays as a right back. I think he's also been... How did I forget him? I would have put him in the team of the group stage as well. He's been standout for me for Ivory Coast. All games he's played. And good to see the diversity of African footballers as well. One playing for France, one playing for Ivory Coast. So, but Ivory Coast will be too strong for Burkina. I don't want to,
just like Zidane, the goalkeeper of Algeria.
So I don't want to delve into much into it.
His dad, the legendary Zidane,
to AFCON,
yeah. He has watched all 3 group stage games
of Algeria.
Yes.
So that's it. I don't want to analyze. Ivory Coast will be too strong. It's going to be a shocker if they will be too strong.
One thing I like about him as far as the fact that he likes to work with young players. I mean, at the last AFCON, immediately this Oguri was sacked. The other man was stagnant. He was coming to the round of 16. You you saw how much he built the team around young players,
Adingra, all of them.
Carlos Baliba, and all
Adingra.
of those players. So
And he's a no-nonsense coach as well.
Yes,
Adingra, sorry,
Adingra too, yeah.
No-nonsense
Good
coach.
Pepe.
So if you
he likes to work with young players, and you can see it at this AFCON as well.
Okay, let's quickly move from that. So, like I said, once the round of 16 is done, definitely we're getting another episode of the Glider. So then we're going to analyze all the games that have gone down, which is going to be starting tomorrow. Senegal against who is Senegal playing again?
Sudan.
Sudan, yeah. That's like I said, it's not one of the games I'm going to talk about.
they've not scored any goal at this AFCON, Sudan.
Let's move to something you talked about. Ugo Bruce talking about the fanfare and the vibes. Now let's just quickly touch on that particular one. What has been, which fans have been the best fans for you at this AFCON?
Because we should be in a perfect position to see you're in
Well-
Abidjan and now you're in Morocco. So
No. I mean, in this, let's leave Abidjan. Someone said we should not compare the two AFCONs because they are two different people, two different cultures. So
West Africans
are always going to be colorful,
That's the vibes,
but
yeah.
they here also have the vibes, and then the fans are also bringing the vibes. Remember that we've seen different fans of the game from CAF, and then also we've seen iconic things like the man who is of DR Congo standing, that fan that stands in the statue of former Prime Minister of DR Congo and stays in that position all through the game. So Patrice Lumumba, that is iconic for me. Which of those fans, Nigerian fans, you've seen Nigerian fans in the stadium. We've seen Tunisian fans in the stadium. We've seen Moroccan fans who come to watch the Spurs in the stadium. So which of these countries have given you the most iconic fans? Let me start from Mikolo.
Iconic fans, I think, for the games that we have witnessed will be Tunisia. The way they came into the stadium made the stadium look more full. And don't also forget that they are not based in Fez. Nigeria is the only group C team that was based in Fez.
Yeah.
Tunisia fans came in wolves of buses and they filled up the stadium.
Yeah, we have over
with
40,000
colours.
people
They even had
that
the
day.
flares out
Yeah.
and all of that, and they were really loud, you know. Inspired their team
Yeah, inspired their team to almost get a comeback,
So
yeah.
that's the ones I've witnessed. For the ones I've seen, obviously, you're going to know that the home team is always going to bring the fans. But I've also seen online, I've seen Cote d'Ivoire, I've seen Cameroon fans. Cote d'Ivoire fans also came in the thousands dancing, the Coupe de Mathieu. DR Congo, always going to stand out. Their fans are always going to be there.
I mean, same Tunisia, that game, the atmosphere was fantastic. The Tunisian fans, they came with all the energy, they came with the flares. I think I was in the media tribune when they scored that second goal. The whole crowd was almost red, the flares were all out. So I've seen clips of Cameroonian fans as well, bringing in the colors. There's one journalist I made friends with sent me clips of, how we'd like to capture, some of those moments as well. So, it's been what it is so far.
What did you say now?
What do you want to hear?
What did you just say?
See, I've made friends with a couple of journalists and they send me clips.
He sent you
of
clips?
that
you would want to go and cover.
Wait,
land.
She would like to capture.
You didn't include that before.
No, now
Take it
was gender neutral.
we did Morocco now. We need to.
No, I understand. No, I'm not even bothered because there are some other reasons why people want to go and cover Senegal. Because there's a photographer that is trending.
Oh, see where they carry me.
They say you go like go cover the game.
So this is the clip, by the way. So you see how.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah, so-
Well, he dey try explain. Don't like Jerry. So that's for the guys, and I think to wrap up the show, I'll just give you a story. This is outside the stadium. For me, it's been the hospitality of Moroccans. This is my second time in Morocco, and I think that the hospitality this time is different because the fans are aware that people are here for a footballing tournament. They know that the whole of Africa is in their country, and I think mine is on the train. So I have had an unfortunate start to my AFCON with my luggage. I've still lost my luggage. I've just seen one bag. Well, that's beside the point. Now I went to Casablanca from Fez, which is by train. It's about 6 to 7 hours where you combine the stopover at another station. I went to Casablanca, and on my way back, where I got just one of my two bags, I was on the train with someone who is an indigene of Fez, but she resides in Casablanca. And then she was talking to me on the train, and then we were vibing. And I think it is the hospitality of the Moroccan people. They are so welcoming. By the way, they've been support. I know that when we get to the semi-finals, we meet them, it's going to be different. But so far,
they've said they know that they've already said from the beginning
That's what they want.
that they are supporting us to get to the final. When we get to the final, they will defeat us.
but
Word on
unfortunately,
the street, that's what
guys,
they are
word
saying.
on the street is we'll get. But if you look at the pairing, we'll definitely meet at the semi-finals. If we keep progressing, one of us will have to leave for the other to make it to the final. So that's been my own experience. That's what has been.
That's
made
better
my,
than last year.
Yes,
to be
that's
honest.
that's what has made my my own trip so far. So yes, it's been great doing this, guys. We wanted to talk for an hour, but it's been so interesting talking about this. I don't think we can capture everything we wanted to capture in this episode, which is why we'll keep postponing it, or we'll keep adding some of those things in the next episode. Round of 16 episode, don't miss that particular one. That's the review of the round of 16.
Round of
Don't
16
miss
games,
it. And this channel, sorry, we are not just pausing after gliders. We've been bringing you updates from the camp of the players, from the different stadiums we've been visiting, from the mixed zone. So all these things, trainings, we've been giving you the updates. If you want to catch fresh things that's happening in the camp of the Super Eagles, always stick on this channel. So subscribe if you have not, and of course share this with your friends. Thank you so much to everyone who has been sharing. Our guys from last year, thank you so much for sticking with us.
It's true. Happy New Year to the
Happy New Year
Gliders
to the
fans.
Gliders
Yeah.
fans. Thank you.
Gliders fans, man.
And we'll see you in the next episode. I did this alongside Timothy. Get well soon.
Thank you.
Mr. Chell. Sebastian, it was great doing this with you. Welcome to the new year, by the way, guys. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Yep.
Happy New Year. Don't stress me this year.
Let's enjoy friends for the next few
My name
days.
is Euphoria, and to bring you the next episode, hopefully with the Super Eagles in Marrakesh. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.